Hi, how you doing? Today I'm going to talk about storage of peonies to be able to have peony bouquets 6 to 8 weeks in the future. My name is Sharon. I garden on a large yard in a small town in east central Saskatchewan, Zone 3. Welcome to my Sask Garden. So I've cut a number of peonies here, and I've done this method time and again. It does work. To be able to store the peonies in the fridge and then bring them out anytime within the next, I'm going to say 8 weeks is about the maximum. I have tried longer. They haven't, the vase life was not very good for longer. But, you know, if you want a nice peony bouquet sometime at the end of July, for example, this is going to be perfect. So I cut what I think is about perfect, and that is this marshmallow stage. We've talked about that before in another video. You just want to press it. It wants to feel a little bit soft, but still sort of firm on the inside. And then what you need to do is strip off all of the foliage, and because that won't store. It'll just dry up, and it takes too much away from the moisture that is left in the peony stem. And that's all you do for the moment. You don't put them in water, and you don't recut them or anything at this point. You just simply strip off that foliage. Now this one is a little bit on the tighter side, but that is still going to be okay. It might just take a little bit more than the 24 hours, 12 to 24 hours to open at a later date. And this one is really good. One of these petals is coming out, but that's okay. I mean, if I were to leave this until tonight, it would probably be open something like this. And while I have this one, I'm going to mention I did cut some of these just to show what is not going to work for storage, and that is anything that's open like this. I cut these. I'm going to use them for a bouquet, but you know, truthfully, they're not even the best for a bouquet at this stage because they are a little too open and the vase life will be too short. This is also, once all these outer petals have lifted and you see the inside, it's too late for storage. You really do need to get them in that marshmallow stage. And this is also pretty good. You see that these outer green guard leaves, perhaps you could call them, they are beginning to separate from the plant. And so that is, although it appears to be still, you know, pretty tight bud, it's going to be good for storage. And so we're going to strip off all those leaves first. And then we're going to dunk them in water just to get off any of the bugs that might be on there. And I'm going to show you in a second, but you don't need to do these separately either. I bunch these when I store them. This one is just coming apart just a bit, but I'm still going to store it. Most of these are quite perfect, and I will probably come out again this evening because there's a few more that I think will be ready this evening. They weren't right now. They're still a little bit too tight in the bud, but you know, especially if you are expecting some warm weather, which we are, it's going to get quite hot. It's going to get quite windy. There's a threat of thunderstorms again. And so, you know, instead of risking losing these to something, the petals or the leaves are already showing signs of the hail damage that we had a week ago maybe, or I'd rather enjoy them in the house than see them go to waste outside. This is another one that is too far gone for storage. Everything has lifted. you're seeing the inside of the bloom, and so this is a good one for a bouquet, which is where I'll put it. This one I'm going to use as a bouquet. It probably would be good for storage as well, but it's kind of grown a little bit wonky, so I'm not going to store that. I also mentioned in the other video that when you cut them, you only want to cut as much stem as you need. You don't want to take the whole stem, and you want to cut just above a leaf node and leave that last leaf on the plant for the plant to use for energy for next year's growth. I think that will be for a bouquet, and then this one will also be for storage. And I'm going to leave those side buds on this plant, although they're quite tight. They may produce something. These blooms, when they come out, they're massive, this plant, this particular peony. So this is what I'm going to put into storage for now. And before I do that, I'm just going to take them over to the rain barrel and give them a nice dunk in the water, just to get rid of any of the bugs that might still be on there. So my rain barrel is full, nice clean water, and I just dunk them a few times. Any kind of bucket of water will do, as long as you can get all of those. That's about all you need, so about like a pail full of water. And then just shake off some of the extra. So I just use plastic wrap. I have read about using paper. I personally have never used paper. Apparently it does work. Plastic wrap works for me, and so I know that's what I'm going to use. I also have this rather large roll that I don't know, I've probably had it for 20 years. I don't know if I'll ever use it up in my lifetime, but I just roll it out about that long, maybe a little longer. I'm going to drop it over the edge actually. And then you don't need to worry too much about how many you have in there, as long as they're all enclosed in the plastic wrap. And so I lay a few this way, just making sure that the heads aren't, crushing each other. And then some of these may have longer stems, but I lay a few this way. Going to cut that stem right there. And then I enclose them. Just like that. And you don't want to make them really tight in the plastic wrap. You don't want to scrunch it up too much. But at the same time, you want to make sure that you are kind of just enclosing all of that so there's no big air gaps or any way for the air to get in there. And that's it. That's all I do. Then I take these and I lay them on the bottom shelf of the fridge. We have a spare fridge in the basement, so I do have the extra room, but that's how much room you do need in a fridge. You need it to be that cold. I think you know, up to +4 or +7, something like that, is how you need to keep them, and the cooler the better, without of course them freezing. And then after you want to bring them out and use them, you simply take them out of the fridge, get your vase of water ready, recut the end. You only need to cut off like however much you need, or an inch, you know, like that. Put them in water, and by the next day they will be, you know, like that. It really takes them no time at all to be able to rehydrate. And so that's how you can save your peonies for a later date. I hope you found this information helpful today. If you did, give me a thumbs up, tell your friends, and if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. See you!